Cyberpunk 2077 is set in the futuristic Night City, a technical wonder of corporate greed known for many things such as being nuked and being nuked a second time. It's also a chaotic place with a unique set of street slang terms. After watching one too many dougdoug videos, I got an idea. Steal his content. Try my hand at it with the game people know me for in the first place. So after multiple days worth of technical difficulties and completely fucking up my audio setup multiple times, I managed to make a system that kind of works some of the time. So today, let's play Cyberpunk with a few extra twists. For those of you who somehow haven't seen dougdoug's videos on this type of thing, first of all, watch them. They're better put together and he's funnier than I am. Second of all, the way this works is that anything I say that falls under a certain list of words causes effects to happen. This is the full list that I came up with. If I say eddies or scratch, all my money is removed. If I say delta, the game speed jumps up 50 times. If I say corp or the name of a gang, 15 random enemies spawn in. Sometimes. Look, it doesn't work very well, okay? If I say cop or badge, my wanted level is immediately set to max. If I say chrome or iron, my inventory and cyberware, apart from quest items, is fully cleared. If I say die, flatline, or zero, I die instantly. And finally, most importantly of all, if I say wheels, the skin of the vehicle I'm on randomizes. Riveting stuff. Oh, and one more thing. Unlike dougdoug, I don't have a chat to trick me into saying things yet, so I came up with a workaround. NPC dialogue counts too. All of it. So with the rules in mind, I decided to go with nomad, assuming they'd use very little slang in the intro for that path, and hit randomize until I get something funny.
Oh yeah, now we're talking.
For my build, I put points into body and reflexes. Pretty sure I'm going to be relying on ground loot and fists a lot this run.
Nomad should be fine. They're in the city, so they'll use as much city slang.
After making another random character, I shut my mouth and make a save so I don't have to do it a third time. I make sure to shut up talking to the sheriff, die because it thought I said die, and make my way to the radio tower. I clear the initial conversation okay and make my way over to Jackie, who says iron and clears my entire inventory. Thankfully, the intro pistol seems to be surgically attached to my hand, so I'm not out of options yet. I make my way to the border, park, and realize I'm naked as I go to security. I get chased by Arasaka, where their voice modulator thankfully means the program doesn't hear them say corp, and do the car chase easily. After I enter the garage, I hear Jackie say corp. Twice.
Everything's okay. Everything's okay. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm.
I thought it was fine, but I got a little too close to one and,
No!
Yeah. I run it back and this time enter a firefight with everyone but myself, thankfully letting me clear the intro, followed by a bug-free cutscene. I start the next mission, thankfully reclothed, and thank Christ the vocal effects don't listen to her saying flatline. I thank God again as she says zero on the way to the apartment and get a little caught up by my own damn dialogue.
Hi guys, don't worry about me.
I decide that to avoid more dialogue, I should go in shooting, but T-Bug decides to say scavs. Comedy ensues. After a reset, I have the same thing happen again, which causes me to resign and try stealth. This goes like shit, but I make it to the body anyway, and thank Christ that the leftover enemies talk over V saying zero. I get lit on fire and manage to throw off the other enemies by crouching. I almost get killed by another zero, but I'm saved by the voice actor of this random guy from Trauma Team.
570442 secure.
Oh, he says, oh, thank God.
Jackie then says another buzzword that thankfully this time doesn't get me killed, and on the way back we briefly spawn more enemies before I finish off the driver and head to Watson. Shockingly, the NCPD encounter doesn't say the words badge or cop. I get home, level up, and drop off my extra weapons in my stash so I have a backup plan in case my inventory is cleared again. I sleep, wake up with a fucked brain, and watch all my money go away as the program thinks I said eddies.
He thought I said eddies!
I pick up and equip Dying Night since I never use this thing even in normal playthroughs and go meet up with Jackie. He then says some random shit. The game thinks I said badge.
Oh God, that says badge. Oh God, that's fine.
After Jackie spawns even more enemies and a quick hide from the cops, I go meet up with Vic and hop in Dex's car. I spawn a shitload of enemies in this car ride who thankfully fall behind us.
Dude!
Dex clears my money again.
Okay.
And both Dex and I spawn like 30 clumps of random enemies. Thank God this mission is in a car. Anyways, I wrap up and... Jesus Christ, this is gonna be a long run. And after spawning people in the middle of the market multiple times, I decide to do Maelstrom first, since there's much less dialogue if I just kill people. I call up Meredith, then meet with her and get my shit slammed in. I take her chip, meet with Jackie, get put in the middle of a firefight, lose all my money, get put in another firefight, and thank God it didn't hear the zero in the flathead model.
P0, D12.
I do drugs, and get held at gunpoint before Uno reversing Royce and killing him with a brief smack to the head somehow. Dum Dum ragdolls hard, I grab Royce's gun, and level up twice just for Jackie to set me back. Second time around, I sprint past him so I'm not killed instantly, and decide to free Brick for a change of pace. Considering I killed the boss, I clear the rest of the plant easily, and make it out to meet with Gilchrist, which I didn't even know could happen. He spawns random guys on me, and I chat with Jackie, ending the mission pretty easily. I head back to my apartment to store the stuff in my inventory as a backup plan, something I do a lot in this run, and meet up with Evelyn at Lizzie's. I accidentally invite a few friends to the meetup, and drop into YouTube poop mode.
You look like a cut of fuck.
Where thankfully I finished the brain dance without a hitch. I can't say the same for after the BD though. After losing all my money,
Oh my god, it said Eddie's too.
My offers.
I talk to Dex and grab 2 more levels as I go in for the heist. I meet up with Dex in the afterlife, get the cops called on me accidentally, and start the heist. After Delamain tries to empty my non-existent bank account, I run the Flathead segment and grab my level. I head to the suite, snag the egg, gun, and relic, and watch Saburo die of old age. I grab Saburo's knife and katana and clear the rest of Konpeki without issue. Combat tends to have a lot less dialogue. After taking out some drones and losing jacking, I remember I randomized my appearance and get shot in the face. I start the Johnny segment, and thankfully nobody says anything of note. Mostly. As I wrap up the memory... It thought I said soldier! Anyway, as I wrap up the memory, I wake up in a landfill and shoot a few ninjas before I hit a roadblock. Multiple people say die in reference to V in this sequence, most of which thankfully are interfered with before my program picks them up, but one of these unfortunately does get picked up, and it's unskippable.
And then he died.
To continue the run, I turned off the program for this bit specifically, but unfortunately the run is technically impossible under the existing rules. But when has that ever stopped me? I get up and talk to Takamura, meeting with him, some other friends, and then Johnny at 50 times speed. Oh god! I decide to go meet Rogue first, whose name fucks up and clears out my inventory, after which I pick the wrong dialogue option and die instantly.
Got more if you want.
After a reload, I thankfully don't get my inventory cleared and choose the option that doesn't kill me immediately. However, both money keywords get said instantly and I lose any money I had.
Said he's ready.
I go run the closest side gigs for 15,000 eddies, and by that I mean a single NCPD hustle and get distractedly sent on a side quest all the way at the Columbarium. Anyway, a few scanner gigs later, and I finally scrap together the scratch to pay Rogue, at which point I think the run is over. Again.
Hey, Rogue. Got the scratch.
Thankfully, the program didn't register it over Carrie's vocals in the background, but for all intents and purposes, I should have gotten shafted there. After Rogue calls in some friends, I call Panam. On the way to meet her, I stop a robbery and then rob them myself for some spare items to sell down the line. After meeting up with Panam, I keep my mouth shut as I clear through Ghost Town, opting once again to kill everyone to minimize dialogue that could get me killed. I grab the car and book it out of there since my shitty gray shotgun was doing me no favors, and go kill Nash with Panam for some extra loot, though his special gun unfortunately clipped into the ground. After the meet with 6th Street, I sell off the junk guns to a weapon vendor and meet with Panam for the next part of the questline. After a bit of target practice, Johnny spawns like 3 million enemies, and we raid the power station without much of note, other than Johnny making everything a fuckload faster.
Delta the fuck out.
Perhaps.
What about the detonator?
Ironically, this made things go a lot nicer, except for, what the fuck? Anyway, after taking out the drone successfully this time, I clear the crash site and kill the Kang Tao operative to stop him from saying any dialogue that could once again kill me. It's at this point I come to an unfortunate realization. Scorpion has Corp in it. After killing off the new enemies, I ride to the gas station and book it in to grab Hellman, after which all of the Kang Tao forces magically disappear, which lets me walk out easily. After a chat with Hellman and then a chat with Johnny, the first questline is finished, and I go sell my shit and ignore the Balatro questline. I drop my shit at my apartment and meet with Judy, grabbing her boss's fancy pistol on the way out. I make my way to Clouds, where I realize I must have missed a keyword a ways back.
You're dying.
And interrupt the session so they don't accidentally call Max Tack or some shit. I then use the good old jump out of the window and onto the balcony trick to reach Tom, after which I ever so sneakily rip the door open and talk to Woodman. I didn't clip it, but this man's accent was so thick, it genuinely thought I said die like 30 times to the point where I almost just killed him outright to skip it. Anyway, I finally get the info, leave, and tell Johnny to fuck off so he doesn't get me killed somehow. I jump through the window to Fingers' clinic and threaten a bunch of sex workers as if they didn't have enough trouble already. I then immediately threaten Fingers so he doesn't kill me instantly and go by the BD in the alley. Thankfully, him saying badge didn't trigger in-game. I'm pretty sure Jig Street is a safe zone or something. I'm not actually sure what happened here. Anyway, I scroll the BD with Judy and make my way to the power plant, which I clear without issue. I get Evelyn out and watch some more BDs, in which I get a little distracted. I then call Mr. Hands, summon a few new friends, and while I'm waiting to hear back from him, I take a ride in the rain and go meet Takamura. Oda obviously doesn't believe me, and we go drain my bank account and look at the parade through Wakako. After a brief trip home to refill my inventory and put some damn pants on, Mr. Hands calls me, and I make my way to the chapel. After stealing Placide's knife, he drains my bank account and spawns in some friends before I proceed to spawn in 30 fucking enemies and become NCPD's most wanted.
Oh my god!
After a normal conversation with Placide, I sneak into the GIM just so Placide doesn't say animals any more times than necessary. Unfortunately, it thinks I said claws and spawns a fuckload of enemies, forcing me to sprint away and fight the boss. Thankfully, a couple of shotgun blasts to the face drops are pretty easy, though this random cop low-key almost killed me after it was over. Unfortunately, the game thinks I said Delta, speeding it up to the point where he gets so bored of waiting that he just decides to kill me. Guess I'm working with Placide. After Placide tries to kill me, I threaten his cronies into bringing me to his exact location, at which point I pick the wrong dialogue option and die instantly. The other one also tries to kill me instantly, but thankfully fails. However, as recompense, it somehow gets scratched from what he was saying and empties my bank account. Wonderful. After talking to Brigitte, who somehow makes the room darker mid-conversation, we go to the Voodoo Boys gamer dungeon and I get in the organ harvesting bath, having learned nothing from Sandra Dorset. After Brigitte puts me in the Wayback Machine, I realize that spawning doesn't even work in the Johnny segment and watch Johnny play fun games with Alt. After getting stabbed by magically appearing Mantis Blades guy, I find the most bullshit keyword ever, which also doesn't work. I talk with Wesker, Rogue, and Santiago before clearing the mission without anything of note. After Johnny kills Alt, I unsuccessfully attempt to summon more enemies, watch Alt kill the Voodoo Boys, and have a quick conversation with not one but two net ghosts. I leave the chapel, fall into a shopping cart, and with that, all I have left to do is wait for Takamura to call. After waiting a million years and dying once, Takamura finally calls me, and I meet him out at the street market. After telling him I'm stupid, I prove it by simply ripping the door to the camera room open and bugging the system manually. This is when Johnny decides to be an asshole for no reason.
Flatline him.
After a few resets, I managed to hit the dialogue fast enough to confuse my program, but it was super scuffed, and by all means, this should be another unskippable death. So, you know. Anyways, I do the recon with Takamura and our new friends, and then make my way into the park via truck. I sneak in, bug the float, and book it out of there, because at this point, I'm just bored of stealth. I grab my level, go home, and pass out for a day, then meet with Takamura again for the parade. I drain my own bank account.
Million eddies.
Dude, that is not.
He eats a burger so bad it makes me NCPD's most wanted.
Tasty.
Oh no.
And the parade begins. I detonate the first sniper, stealth kill the second, whose groans thankfully drown out me saying soldier, which has die in it, grab a level from a stealth kill, and pull a Dexter Deshawn on the third sniper, except way more violent and really not like that at all, actually. I unplug Little Miss Netrunner and best Oda pretty easily, because as it turns out, double-barreled shotguns are just really, really good. I jack in, Takamura shoots the face of one of the most powerful corporations in the world, and I book it out of there so fast the program thankfully doesn't even hear Johnny say Delta. After grabbing another level, I chat with real Hanako before Arasaka busts through the wall to kill us. This time I opt to leave Takamura. This video is so goddamn behind and he's not relevant for the ending I want anyway. Rest in peace. Speaking of ending, while I chat with fake Hanako, let's talk about what ending I'm going for. Of the 4 endings, the only one I have to do no extra work for is the Corpo ending. However, there's a lot of dialogue in this and they say the word corporation a lot. So what's my alternative? Simple. The solo ending. Not only is it very dialogue light, but it's also the second fastest option to unlock, making my job a little harder now and a whole lot easier later. With that decided, I grab another level and 2 huge perks on the way out of the hotel before waking up in the Pistis Sophia. Once again, I hit a roadblock that I have to save load for, where eventually the program registers flood life instead of flatline. Thank God for shitty tech, because otherwise I would have given up dozens of hours ago. I discussed the dynamics of getting freaky with my imaginary friend before grabbing the questline I need and making my way to the afterlife. One keyword-free cutscene later, and I wake up in a random motel, after which I drop off all my shit at home and pass out for a day. A call from Rogue and a sick jacket later, and we're off to the Ebonike. I opt against stealth for variety, clearing to the boat and snagging Johnny's gun before dropping Grayson as soon as possible so he doesn't get max tack on my ass. Rogue decides to then counter that point by speeding my game up 50 times, and after retrieving Johnny's car, I drop off his gun and pick up a new one, since apparently at some point my inventory got cleared. Sick. After an unsuccessful attempt at driving, what? I thankfully die and have my game speed reset. I make my way out to the oil fields and choose the required dialogue, meaning I can finally start the endgame. While I chat with Hanako, I'd like to add an unfortunate but necessary change to the rules. In the finale of Cyberpunk, regardless of ending, the word die is said a lot. So in order to have any chance of beating the game, I'm sadly gonna have to remove that set of keywords. To make up for this, however, I had each of them instead spawn double as many enemies as each of the faction keywords did before. Gotta keep me on my toes somehow, and you guys would beat me to death otherwise. Anyway, I just kinda go and sit for 5 minutes until Johnny finally pipes up and I go start the final mission. For gear, I went simple. Other than a max stock, I grabbed Johnny's pistol and guts. Why those in particular? Johnny's pistol felt right, and I kinda just grabbed guts because it was on the way to Embers. Thankfully, Johnny's weird voice causes neither time he says iron to get registered, so let's see how this goes. Poorly. It goes poorly. Did I mention I'm not very good at this game? Anyway, a few deaths later, I get an idea.
Die. Oh shit!
Okay, that didn't work at all. Well worth a shot. A few more deaths and I clear the first room at least, which allows me breathing room to pick off dudes as I progress. Very, very slowly progress. I finally get the access card and just book it to the elevator instead of fighting because fuck this mission. Thankfully, the next area is easier aside from this glitch effect that almost gave me a stroke. Also, this happened.
No, there's no fucking point. I mean,
The fuck?
I make it to the mainframe and pop the floor open, barely making it to the pillar to allow Alt to kill everything for me. Thank God. With that, it's time for everyone's favorite, Atom Smasher. After way too much goddamn work, I finally make it to Mikoshi, and after a very normal virtual discussion with Johnny, I opt to keep my body. I do rich people shit, meet with Mr. Blue Eyes, and go to space, ending a long and arduous run with a bang by spawning a bunch of random guys out in space because of a misheard keyword. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am so sorry about the gap in between videos. Not only was the last one released right before I went on another vacation, but also I'm moving back out to college. All of my shit has been in boxes, and it's been a pain in the ass for me to do any of this, especially considering I had to deal with the audio setup, which genuinely took me the better part of a week. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for the patience. I hope you enjoyed. On the bright side, now that I'm finally free, I can get to work scripting Phantom Liberty No Crimes. That's not to say it's going to be done anytime soon, but I can finally get to it in a semi-recent time frame. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, whatever the goddamn hell. Peace.